It is really windy today. Low humidity. My weather station's had a gust of 32.5 kilometers per hour. So far, I think there's probably stronger yet coming.
There it is. Bad news. My God. You think it happened? I'll watch the video later. I'm up in this.
I think that should give you a pretty good idea of what fire conditions are like out there, seeing as we've had this warm air getting up close to 30 in some places, and this very low humid X value, very low humidity. That's fire weather. Then you had the wind. So the 30-30-30 rule, 30 kilometers an hour winds, temperatures above 30 Celsius, and humidity below 30%. You have explosive fire conditions. Definitely windier up by the lake. So if I had a 32.5 kilometer an hour reading at the house, as you come up around the edge here and face the lake more, where the winds are more or less unimpeded by the mountainside, rushing down there, it is much stronger down here. Blasted, not crazy, but heavy wind nonetheless. Steady heavy wind. The kind of wind that would any fire in this right now would just be so stoked with all the oxygen. Holy, things are going to be ripping out there. So, that's a big concern today, was for fire behavior, should any fires kick up. Luckily, we know the weather will calm down, cool off in a day. This is bad news for anybody who's out, got a fire near them. Holy, as we come to the lake, it's blasting. I wish I had my Kestrel, but it's kind of getting old anyways, and doesn't give you, I don't think, a very accurate reading anymore. If any rich person out there wants to support their local weather dude, I could use a brand new Kestrel this fire season, thunderstorm season. That, of course, gives me wind speed, indications, direction, humidity, temperature, all that kind of stuff that makes me a good spot weather forecast guy. So if you recall, at the end of last July, we had a pattern change in the weather where things got much more Pacific after that, and we had a more upper level low pattern established, holy windy, established out in the Gulf of Alaska. Wow, wind. And since that time, we had more wet conditions than we had, there it goes Tyler, more wet conditions than we'd had in some time, right? We had a couple of years of drought. Now what I'm seeing here, it's like the land took all the water that could be thrown at it and said, I'm still thirsty. And here we are coming into spring, and the ground's telling me it's thirsty. So we need considerable rain, I'm realizing. Considerable before July in order to avert a really bad fire season. Okay, there's something else we want to look at. So the other day I was telling you how Mother's Day is generally when we expect the ice to break on the lake here. We're looking at it 2 days ago saying it's not going to make it, and it is not going to make it. This wind especially is ripping it apart fast. Lakes up here at the 4,000 foot level are breaking as of today. It's a done deal. It's not coming back. So that's over a week early, easily. That's telling as well for how cold it was last winter, what kind of winter we had. It's not been an unusually hot spring. We've had a couple warm spells like this. We are now seeing waves on the lake today in this wind. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Kenny. So here's my example that this should all be like soaking wet. A lot of years this is inundated in water. I know there's still a lot of melt to go on in the mountains, and that will bring up water levels. But this really says something about this, the larger picture. It really does to me, that it's May 2nd and it's that crazy dry. The reality is that if we continue a pattern like this up and down, where it's like some down weather, some hot weather, some down weather, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to get everything kind of wet enough, ready enough, resistant enough for this fire season. I'm realizing it's taking me a while to know what I wanted to say about this fire season, but I think I know. I think I know now. I think it's time to the next couple of days, string together my real summer 2025 wildfire outlook and what I've already given you lots of hints as to where this is going, with the Chilcotin being in real dry shape to start the year, the summer. It's particularly vulnerable, I think, this year. Northeastern BC up in the Peace is really vulnerable once again. Yeah, there's a lot to say, I think, but I'm starting to feel like if there's not a change in this pattern, if it's just like so, if we're not like getting into like wet spring patterns for like a week or 2 weeks at a time, at some point in the next little while, if it just stays like this, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad if this pattern we're in, this is already producing hotter and drier weather than we forecast or anticipated for. We've been nudging the forecasts up all week. A little bit more, because it's that hot that early. Hit the likes and shares and subscribes if you don't mind. Keep me in business here, and I'll let you know what I know as we get into the season, everybody. Thanks very much for being part of the experience here.